Hello and welcome to Painting Panzers. My name's Christian and today we're going to be taking a look at yet another Ionic paint set. This paint set is focused around the Oakleaf pattern. So you get your 12 paints in the paint set and it's going to be looking at the Oakleaf pattern, which I really can't wait to show you guys. I'm going to be using a 20mm AB figure and I'm really impressed with how this has come out, but I'm not going to give too much away. I'm also going to try and tweak it slightly, which you can probably guess by the figure spinning around that I'm not just painting Oakleaf. So stick with me and let's get stuck into this Oakleaf Ionic paint set. Now you can pick this up from the Ammo Ionic website. So go to Ammo, Paints, Ionic paint sets, and then you can go to the Waffen SS Oakleaf set, and here it is. It's €42, which is really reasonable for the 12 paints that you get. There's also a paint chart that you can download, and on there it gives you a really good bit of information on how to paint the Oakleaf scheme using Ruben's guide. So to start off with, I'm going to be using Graveyard Earth for the base colour for my Oakleaf pattern. So I'm going to be painting his smock, his helmet cover, as well as his trousers in this colour, because I'm also going to try and paint some PDOT using this set. It's not meant for PDOT according to the set, but I reckon we can get it working on this 20mm AB figure. Now with that done, for the autumn, so this is the orange scheme, this the Oakleaf scheme, I'm going to be using black ground for those dark brown spots. Now it is made up of 3 different shades of this brown. So you've got a brown, like a dark brown, a medium brown, then like an orange brown. But for the sake of this 20mm model, I'm just going to be using a dark brown and an orange brown. Once you've painted some irregular sort of blotches all over it, you can repeat the exact same step with lizard green and black at a 1:1 ratio. Just make that dark green for the spring Oakleaf pattern a lot darker, but it looks really good when you get that bit of black in there. Darkens it up really well. And using that same colour, you can paint random blotches like this, but not too big on his trousers and not connecting to each other. Let's just separate those blotches. And then using Dwarf Skin Vanilla at a sort of 1:1 ratio and then a tiny bit of Graveyard Earth mixed in together. I know it's a bit of a mixture, but you can get PDOT out of this set. So if you're willing to take the time and do it, and as you can see, I'm adding in the same sort of style of blotches, but I'm connecting them between the greens and the pinks. I'm sort of connecting them, not fully, just in certain parts. Now with that done, I'm going to be painting his boots in black. Now we're going to be getting to all the little fine dots and stuff, giving it a really good pattern in a short while. So yeah, just bear with me. I'm also going to be using the black for his leather belt as well. You could use a dark brown, a black brown as well, or a dark grey. All of those work really nicely. And then talking about dark grey, I use black and vanilla at a 1:1 ratio to get myself a nice dark grey, which is going to be great for any metal items, or in this case, his binoculars. And giving it a good coat there. And then for his pistol holster, I'm going to be using burnt umber. So fortunately, there's probably a reason that I've picked this figure, and it's because there's not much to paint. I really wanted to just highlight the camouflage scheme. I was just going to leave it at that, but I thought, you know what, with the small amounts of details required to be painted on here, I'll just paint the whole thing for you guys. God, I'm just so good to you guys, aren't I? And then Admiral Grey for the bit of his tunic, just sticking over the top of his smock there. And then once you've given him a nice black wash, it's going to dry, and then go over those paints again. So I'm using Graveyard Earth for the camoed areas, and I'm just going back over all of those trousers, leaving the original washed base colour in the recesses, and then I'm giving it the rest of it a go with this Graveyard Earth. You don't have to go too crazy or make it too fine, just because you're going to be putting a load of dots on, so you're going to hide most of that detail, especially at this scale as well. So doing the exact same again, so I'm just putting in the black brown again inside of those dark brown blotches, and leaving the original washed base colour in the recesses. and just tidying up. If I feel like I've made a few mistakes, this is a really good time to do it. As you can see, I've already raced ahead on some parts of the uniform just to speed up the process for me with the filming, so there's less to film. And then lizard green and black at that 1:1 ratio again, just to do the exact same process with the green. It's very repetitive at this point, guys, but it is worth this extra little step. It's just going to make these patterns just look a little bit better and give them a little bit more definition. And then the same as the dwarf skin vanilla, I've got and graveyard earth, I've got a 3, 3 and 1 ratio. So basically just go the exact same for the 2 parts, and then just add a tiny little bit of that graveyard earth in the mixture, so that dwarf skin and vanilla. And then using that same paint, you can add in some dots. So you can put dots all over the trousers here, because we're going to be painting the P dot scheme at the start here. So I'm just painting all these random little dots all over the shop, some close to each other, some further away, using a really fine brush, as a size 0 brush, and just adding in all the dots all over the place. And then repeating the same process, but with that lizard green and black at a 1:1 ratio, and just adding in dots all over the place. Try and change it up. So put a couple close to one another, then maybe have a little bit of a distance between the next one, and putting it in the in that skin color as well, as you can see. And you can see that P dot pattern is already starting to really take shape. That's just because we're starting to build up to those nice colors. And then ochre green is what I'm going to be using for the sort of pea green color in the pattern, following the same process. But with this one, you can paint it all over, because you're not this color doesn't match with any of the other blotches, so you just paint it all over. Again, just mixing and matching. A couple are close to each other, a few further away, but having a lot of dots on there. And using that same green for the spring Oakleaf pattern, I'm going to be painting in a lot of little dots within those dark green areas. Have a couple just coming outside of the dark green, so maybe overlapping a little bit, and then you can paint just a couple actually on that graveyard earth outside of the dark green. Just a couple though, don't do too many, because you want some of that graveyard earth base color just poking through. And then following the exact same way that you painted on the spring Oakleaf pattern, use light rust. As you can tell, it's quite orange, but it actually looks very effective for 20mm, which is what you want, the smaller the scale, so the brighter the colours to make it stand out a little bit more. And you can see that that really does stand out quite a lot. And do bear in mind, I've put on a very slight little adjustment to the image just to brighten it up slightly, so yeah. And then finally, using the graveyard earth pattern for the P dot, you're just going over that skin and dark green blotches with a couple of dots inside of those as well. And you'll have yourself a pretty nice looking P dot pattern to go with your spring and autumn Oakleaf patterns. And then black, brown and light rust at a 1:1 ratio is what I'm going to be using to layer my pistol holster. So again, just leaving the original base color that's been washed in the recesses, and everything else is getting a nice coat of paint. Then black and vanilla at a 1:1 ratio again. I'm not going to do anything too crazy at this point, just going to go over his binoculars. There's lots of detail on these AB figures. They are absolutely beautiful, and this paint set goes with them perfectly. And using the same color for the belt as well, just going over the belt there. And then because he's got a nice belt buckle, I'm going to be using that same mixture, but I'm going to be adding in some more vanilla. So it ends up being 2 parts vanilla and 1 part black, just to give it a nice silvery looking color. And then going over the German field grey with Admiral grey and vanilla at a 1:1 ratio. It looks a little bit blue, but that's okay. 50 Shades of Field Grey comes to mind, so not all types of field grey look the same. Perhaps you could darken it up with a little bit of that graveyard earth in there as well. And then for the skin, they provide dwarf skin in the paint sets. These Ionic paint sets really are designed to be used as is. You don't really have to do too much more hunting for paints. So I'm going to be painting skin in dwarf skin, and then I'm going to be giving his gaiters a go of graveyard earth and vanilla at a 1:1 ratio. So I did paint them in graveyard earth. I don't think I actually shown that in the video, but this is how I layer them. And then just because this guy is obviously part of the SS, I'm going to be giving him some SS collar tabs, which were just square rectangles with a little bit of the SS logo on one side and then his rank on the other. So in this particular case, I believe he's a junior lieutenant. I could be incorrect here. You guys will be able to tell me in the comments, but I'm going to give him 3 little diagonal dots here, and then I'm going to go with an SS logo on this side. It's pretty hard to do, so especially using white, so just wet the tip a little bit just to get it to come out a little bit with a little bit of a control. And looks, if it's something that comes out like this at 20mm, yeah, pretty happy with how it looks. Doesn't look too bad at all. And then to finish him off, I'm going to be finishing his skin. So I'm using that dwarf skin again, and I'm painting the nose, the cheeks, the chin. I'm going to connect the cheeks and the chin together. Made a little bit of a mistake on his chin strap there. I'll fix that up without filming that, obviously. But yeah, that's how I'd paint the face. And then just to highlight all of that, I'd give dwarf skin and vanilla a go at a 1:1 ratio. Just copy the same bit, this time painting underneath the eye sockets on the cheeks and the chin and the nose, but I'm not connecting the cheeks and the chin together. So this brighter colour sort of just stands out a little bit more, and then just paint a little bit on the neck and the fingers. And then you should have something that looks like this. Bearing in mind this guy is 20mm, but it's come out really nicely, so you can get a really good idea of how that paint scheme comes out from that paint set. So overall, another smashing set from the Ionic team. This Oakleaf set is fantastic, and with a little bit of tweaking you can get a really nice P-dot pattern out of it as well. So it really does have everything that you need. You've got the 12 paints in there, and they've got a flesh paint in there as well, so they really do have most bases covered. You probably only need to pick up a couple of other paints, and you'll be absolutely good to go. So a massive thank you goes out to the team at Ionic and MIG for sending me these out. I really am enjoying this little collaboration we've got going. This is the 4th set now that's hit the channel, and I can't wait to see what else they've potentially got lined up in the future. But yeah, I really did enjoy this. I do love these AB figures. I think they come out really nicely using these paint sets as well. Now, a massive thank you goes out to all of you for watching, as well as my YouTube channel members and Patreons, and specifically those Panzer Aces. So that's Patrick, Oscar, James, Panzer Jim, Colin, Lack of Foresight Gaming, Mike, Mikey, Eric, Rothgar, Ian, Adam, Aislinn and Seti. You guys are all champions. Wow, there's so many of those aces now, it's getting insane. But if you would like to join them or any other members, you can do so through my membership program, and the cheapest option is $1 a month. So it all goes back towards the channel, and yeah, it really does go such a long way. So thank you so much, and we're so close to 10,000, so please do subscribe if we haven't reached it already, or even if we have, please do subscribe anyway. Alright guys, I'm going to leave it here. Don't forget to leave me a comment below, and until then, I will catch you at the next one.